You have been told to be grateful for every single penny. You have been told that if you want to manifest money, you must vibrate high, jump up and down, and celebrate every dollar like a miracle. But today, using the profound teachings of Neville Goddard, I'm going to expose the ultimate manifestation lie. I'm going to reveal the gratitude trap that is actively keeping you broke. When you express desperate, euphoric gratitude for basic wealth, you are placing money on a massive pedestal. And here is the golden rule of quantum physics. Everything you place on a pedestal is physically forced to look down on you. By treating money like a holy miracle, you have declared to the universe that money is completely superior to you. And in the architecture of the universe, kings simply do not visit peasants. If you are finally exhausted from playing the role of the desperate peasant, begging for scraps, and you are ready to learn how to aggressively demote money to the level of your obedient servant, take a brief moment to subscribe to this channel right now. We are going to shatter the pedestal today, and we are going to force wealth to start chasing you. To truly understand why your current bank account is empty, we must deeply analyze the psychological dynamic of the chaser and the celebrity. I want you to imagine the most famous, glamorous celebrity in the world walking down a quiet street. Suddenly, a crazed fan spots them. The fan starts screaming, crying, and sprinting toward the celebrity with their arms wide open, begging for just one moment of their time. The fan is vibrating with desperate, frantic energy. What does the celebrity do? The celebrity does not turn around, smile, and embrace the fan. The celebrity feels the invasive, desperate energy, signals their security guards, and immediately runs in the opposite direction to protect themselves. The celebrity runs because desperation is the most repulsive frequency in the human experience. Desperation is a threat. Desperation signals a massive, terrifying void that the fan is trying to force the celebrity to fill. Now, I want you to look at your exact relationship with money. You are that crazed, terrified fan, and the money is the celebrity. When you look at your bills, you panic. When you receive a paycheck, you treat it like a rare, holy artifact. You obsess over every single dollar. You create complex spreadsheets. You track every penny. You restrict your life. And you constantly talk about how expensive everything is. You go to sleep begging the universe to send you cash, and you wake up checking your phone to see if a financial miracle has magically occurred overnight. You have placed money on the highest possible pedestal in your mind. You treat paper and digital numbers as if they are supreme divine entities that hold the absolute power of life and death over you. You are vibrating with the exact same frantic, desperate energy as the crazed fan in the street. And because the universe is a flawless mirror, the energy of money feels your desperate, suffocating attachment, and it runs away from you as fast as quantum mechanics will allow. This brings us to the profound dynamic between the master and the servant. Everything in your three-dimensional reality is governed by the laws of power and identity. You cannot attract anything that you feel is greater than you. Think about human relationships for a moment. Have you ever known someone who was desperately, obsessively in love with a partner who did not treat them well? The more the needy person texts, calls, begs, and sacrifices their own dignity, the more the partner pulls away, loses respect, and eventually leaves. The needy person is constantly projecting the assumption that they are not worthy of the partner. They are projecting the idea that the partner is a prize to be won. And the partner subconsciously agrees, realizing that they are too valuable to stay with someone who has no self-respect. Your relationship with the quantum field operates on this exact same biological and psychological boundary. When you cry over a lack of money, you are declaring your inferiority to a piece of paper. The great mystic Neville Goddard taught us that the entire physical world is nothing but a dead shadow, a projection of your own internal consciousness. The money itself has no brain. It has no eyes, no soul, and absolutely no power. It is just printed cotton or digits on a screen. It only possesses the power that you voluntarily surrender to it. Neville taught that the true name of the Creator is I Am. He did not say the name of the Creator is I Am, and money is greater than me. To successfully manifest massive wealth, your state of I Am must be the largest, most dominant vessel in your reality. You must be the ocean, and the money must be a simple drop of water. But look at what you have done. You have completely inverted the divine order. You have made the money the ocean, and you have reduced yourself to a desperate, thirsty man begging for a single drop. You have taken the creation and bowed down to it, completely forgetting that you are the creator. This is the ultimate spiritual tragedy. You are a limitless, infinite consciousness, currently wearing a physical human body, and you are having a panic attack over pieces of paper that were printed in a factory. You are letting a mathematical concept dictate whether you are allowed to feel joy today. You are letting a bank app tell you if you are worthy of respect. You have crowned a false god, and that false god is currently punishing you with poverty. You must realize that wealth is not a reward for good behavior. Wealth is not a prize that the universe hands out to people who beg the loudest. Wealth is a natural consequence of identity alignment. Water naturally flows to the lowest point of gravity. In the exact same way, money naturally flows to the person who offers the least amount of emotional resistance. And who offers the least amount of resistance? The person who does not care. The person who looks at a $100 bill and feels absolutely nothing. The person who considers money to be an incredibly boring, mundane, automatic part of their existence. When you place money on a pedestal, you are creating massive energetic friction. You are telling the universe that having money is a highly unusual, unnatural event for you. You are screaming that you do not belong together. If you want the money to stop running away from you, you have to stop chasing it. You have to stop looking at it like a fan looks at a celebrity. And you must start looking at it like a master looks at a cheap, easily replaceable servant. You do not ask a servant for permission to live your life. You do not check your servant 10 times a day to make sure they are still there. You do not cry tears of joy when your servant does their basic job. You simply give the command, turn your back, and expect the job to be done. The transition from the panicked chaser to the calm, indifferent master is the most important psychological shift you will ever make in your entire life. It is the core teaching of the law of assumption. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. But the feeling of the wish fulfilled is not a state of chaotic, euphoric excitement. Euphoria is the emotion of the beggar who just found $1 on the street. The true feeling of the wish fulfilled is the calm, quiet, almost arrogant certainty of the owner. It is the total neutralization of the pedestal. It is the profound realization that the money actually needs you to give it purpose, and you absolutely do not need the money to give you value. I'm going to give you the second massive reward of this masterclass right now. I'm going to explain a terrifying phenomenon that has probably haunted you for your entire adult life. I'm going to explain exactly why you always seem to lose the money you actually manage to manifest, and how to permanently stop this cycle of financial self-sabotage. You know exactly what I am talking about. You spend weeks doing your techniques. You try to live in the end, and suddenly a miracle happens. You receive an unexpected bonus at work. Someone pays you back an old debt, or you get a tax refund. A large sum of cash suddenly drops into your bank account. And what do? You instantly fall into the gratitude trap. You jump up and down. You call your best friend to tell them the amazing news. You cry tears of relief. You look up at the ceiling and you aggressively thank the universe for finally giving you a break. You treat the arrival of this money as a monumental, earth-shattering event, and the fake manifestation gurus on the internet have told you that this desperate gratitude is exactly what you are supposed to do. They told you to vibrate high and celebrate every single penny. But I am telling you right now, that explosive euphoric reaction is the exact reason why your car engine is going to explode next week, forcing you to spend every single dollar of that new money to fix it. You must understand how the quantum mirror processes your emotional reactions. The universe does not understand the English language. It does not hear your words of gratitude. It only reads the underlying baseline of your emotional frequency. A miracle is, by its very definition, a rare, highly unusual anomaly that completely interrupts the normal pattern of your life. When you react to receiving money with explosive joy and shocked euphoria, you are sending a massive, undeniable signal to the subconscious mind and to the quantum field. You are screaming, "This is not normal for me." You are declaring that having money is a shocking anomaly in your otherwise broke existence. You are confirming that your baseline identity, your normal, everyday state of being, is absolute poverty. And because the universe is a flawless, self-correcting mechanism, it loves equilibrium. It operates exactly like the thermostat in your house. If your financial thermostat is internally set to 50 degrees of poverty, and a sudden rush of money heats the room up to 90 degrees of wealth, your shocked, euphoric reaction acts as the sensor. It tells the system that the room is far too hot and that this heat is completely unnatural for you. The universe immediately turns on the air conditioning to cool you back down to your comfortable baseline of poverty. How does it do this? It manifests a sudden, unexpected expense. You get a parking ticket. Your refrigerator breaks down. Your dog gets sick and needs an expensive visit to the veterinarian. The universe will perfectly mathematically calculate the exact tragedy required to drain that specific amount of new money from your account, returning you to the comfortable, familiar, desperate state of lacking. Your forced, euphoric gratitude is actually a toxic poison that actively repels the money you just received. It is the ultimate symptom of the pedestal trap. You are bowing down to the money and treating it like a visiting god, instead of treating it like a permanent resident in your own house. Billionaires do not jump up and down when $1,000 hits their bank account. They do not cry tears of joy when they manage to pay their electricity bill. They are profoundly, beautifully apathetic to the transaction. It is entirely normal for them. It is their baseline thermostat setting. If you want to keep the money that comes into your life, and if you want it to multiply exponentially, you must strip the arrival of money of all its emotional weight. You must receive a massive financial windfall with the exact same emotional neutrality that you feel when you open your kitchen cabinet and see a clean glass. You expect the glass to be there. You are not shocked by its presence. You do not throw a party for the glass. You simply use it. This quiet, arrogant neutrality is the true frequency of wealth. It is the only frequency that tells the universe to leave the money in your account, because the money finally belongs there. But I know exactly why you struggle to maintain this neutrality. I know why it feels completely impossible to just be apathetic when you receive money, and I know why you treat every dollar like a matter of life and death. This brings us to the profound biological worship of poverty. We must address the physical bridge between your mind and your reality, because your physical body is the exact mechanism that is keeping the money on a pedestal. You have to understand that your physical brain is an ancient biological survival machine. Millions of years of brutal evolution have programmed your nervous system to scan your environment for resources that keep you alive and predators that want to kill you. To your primitive animal brain, there is absolutely no difference between food, water, shelter, and modern digital money. Your brain has literally wired the concept of money directly into your biological survival circuits. When you look at a high price tag, or when you swipe your debit card to pay a difficult bill, your conscious intellect might try to stay calm. You might try to remember the teachings of Neville Goddard. You might try to quietly affirm that you are wealthy. But your physical body is completely ignoring your affirmations. The moment that money leaves your account, your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, instantly activates. It sends a massive, violent surge of cortisol and adrenaline straight into your bloodstream. Your heart rate violently spikes. Your breathing becomes shallow and trapped in your upper chest. The muscles in your neck and your jaw completely lock up. Your nervous system is literally simulating the experience of being hunted by a predator. Your body believes that because you are losing money, you are losing your access to food, you are going to be cast out of the tribe, and you are going to die in the wilderness. You are biologically worshipping the money because your cells are addicted to the terror of not having it. You are experiencing a literal chemical panic attack every single time you interact with your finances. And this is the great tragedy of the modern manifestation community. You are lying in your bed, trying to assume the beautiful, relaxed, careless identity of a multimillionaire, but you are trying to do it inside a physical body that is screaming in absolute terror. In the battle between a terrified, dysregulated nervous system and a positive mental affirmation, the nervous system will win every single time. The quantum field does not listen to the fake smile on your face. It listens to the chaotic, terrified pounding of your heart. It feels the intense biological friction of your survival mode, and it perfectly reflects that friction back to you as more poverty, more delays, and more financial disasters. You cannot successfully demote money from its pedestal if your physical body still believes that the money is its god and savior. You cannot outthink a biological panic attack. If you want to actually become a master of your reality, you must manually reach into your physical hardware and turn off the survival alarm. You must learn how to speak the silent language of your nervous system and convince your cells that they are completely safe, even when the bank account is empty, because this physical biological barrier is the exact place where 99% of people destroy their own wealth. I have provided a highly specific mechanical solution for you. I want you to pause and look right below this video, in the pinned comment section. I have left a vital, life-saving resource there for you. It is a dedicated physical protocol designed entirely to regulate your nervous system and rapidly flush the financial terror out of your bloodstream. It is the missing mechanical bridge between knowing the spiritual truth of Neville Goddard and actually allowing your physical body to survive it. By using this protocol to deactivate your fight or flight response, you strip the money of its biological power over you. You create a quiet, physically safe environment inside your body, which is the absolute prerequisite for claiming the identity of wealth. Once your nervous system is finally regulated, once your body stops treating every expense like a death sentence, you are completely primed and ready to execute the ultimate technique of this masterclass. You are ready for the third massive reward, the exact answer to the promise I made you at the beginning of this video. If you want money to stop running away from you, if you want to destroy the pedestal trap forever, what is the exact action you must take? What is the this that you must do instead? You must aggressively demote wealth. You must officially fire money from the position of your God, and you must instantly hire it as your minimum wage servant. I want you to completely change the way you visualize your relationship with money. Right now, you work for the money. You wake up early, you exhaust yourself, you stress yourself out, and you beg the money to please come into your life and save you. You are the employee and the money is the cruel, distant boss. Today, we completely invert that hierarchy. You are the absolute monarch of your reality, and money is nothing more than a cheap, abundant, easily replaceable tool that exists solely to execute your commands. Think about how a powerful chief executive officer treats a low-level employee. The executive does not walk around the office begging the employee to do their job. The executive does not cry tears of profound gratitude when the employee simply prints a piece of paper. The executive gives a clear, direct command, turns their back and walks away with the absolute, unquestionable certainty that the task will be completed. The executive does not care how the employee does it. They only care that it gets done. This is exactly how you must begin to interact with the financial transactions in your daily life. When you walk into a grocery store and you fill your cart with food, you do not look at the total price and feel a wave of panic. You do not hold your breath when you insert your credit card into the machine. You look at the machine and you mentally dispatch your servant. You say to yourself, I am sending my servant out into the world to fetch me this food. The money is not leaving you, it is going to work for you. When you pay your rent or your mortgage at the beginning of the month, you do not feel the heavy, depressing loss of your hard-earned cash. You look at the transaction and you assume the cold, arrogant authority of the master. You realize that you are simply deploying a microscopic fraction of your infinite resources to secure your shelter. You treat the money with absolute, unapologetic apathy. This act of demotion requires you to stop talking about money as if it has a personality. You must stop saying things like, money is hard to get, or money avoids me, or I am just not good with money. By saying those things, you are giving the paper an identity and a will of its own. You are pretending that the shadow on the wall has the power to fight back against the light of the projector. You must strip the money of its personality. You must look at a $100 bill and recognize that it is literally just a piece of dirty paper with dead politicians printed on it. It has no value other than the value you gracefully allow it to have. When you truly internalize this, when you finally look at your finances and feel a profound, heavy sense of boredom, the pedestal shatters into a million pieces. The universe feels the sudden, massive vacuum of your emotional detachment, and because you are no longer projecting the repulsive energy of the crazed, desperate fan, the wealth stops running away. It turns around, recognizes the undeniable frequency of the master, and begins to chase you with terrifying speed. You do not attract the money. You simply stop violently pushing it away with your own worship. When you finally demote money from the position of a false god and successfully hire it as your minimum wage servant, you step into a completely new dimension of reality creation. You are now ready to master the exact emotional frequency that forces the universe to open the floodgates of wealth. You are ready to adopt the quiet, untouchable arrogance of the owner. This is the core secret of living in the end, exactly as Neville Goddard intended it to be understood. Most people completely misunderstand what living in the end actually means. They think living in the end means walking around all day with a fake smile on their face, pretending to be a millionaire. and forcing themselves to feel a constant exhausting state of high vibration and euphoric joy. But as we have already established, euphoric joy is the emotion of the beggar who is shocked by a miracle. The true end, the actual state of massive wealth, is entirely different. The true state of wealth is profoundly, beautifully boring. It is a state of silent, unbothered, absolute arrogance. I want you to deeply analyze the psychology of true generational wealth. Imagine an individual who was born into a family of billionaires. This person has never experienced a single day of financial lack in their entire life. They have always lived in massive mansions. They have always flown on private jets. And they have never, ever looked at a price tag. How does this person feel about $100,000? They feel absolutely nothing. They are completely apathetic to the existence of the money. If you gave this billionaire a stack of cash, they would not jump up and down. They would not cry. They would not call their friends to celebrate. They would simply hand the cash to their assistant and forget about it 5 seconds later. They are completely desensitized to the miracle of wealth. This desensitization, this profound apathy, is the exact frequency of the master. It is the silent arrogance of someone who knows that the universe is their personal playground. This is the exact psychological posture you must adopt right now in the middle of your current physical reality. You must become completely desensitized to the idea of having massive amounts of money. You must cultivate the arrogance of the owner. Arrogance, in the spiritual sense, does not mean being cruel to other people. It does not mean being flashy or bragging about your material possessions. Spiritual arrogance is the quiet, unbreakable inner certainty that you are the sole operant power of your universe and that the physical world has absolutely no authority over you. It is the deep, cellular knowing that the three-dimensional reality is just a shadow on the wall and you are the blinding light of the projector. How do you practically apply this silent arrogance to your daily life? You start by changing the way you physically interact with the world. When you walk down the street, you do not walk with the hurried, anxious steps of a worker who is late for a shift. You walk with the slow, deliberate, relaxed pace of a monarch inspecting their kingdom. You pull your shoulders back. You lift your chin. You breathe deeply into your stomach, signaling to your nervous system that you are the apex predator in the room and there is nothing for you to fear. When you look at the expensive items in a luxury store window, you do not look at them with the yearning, desperate eyes of a fan looking at a celebrity. You do not say to yourself, "I wish I could afford that one day." You look at those luxury items with the cold, evaluating eyes of the owner. You look at the expensive watch and you say to yourself, "I could buy that right now if I wanted to, but I simply do not feel like wearing it today." You must mentally claim ownership of everything you see, because in the quantum field, your imagination is the only true reality. Neville Goddard taught us that an assumption, even if it is false in the physical world, will harden into physical fact if you persist in it. You must persist in the assumption that you already own the world. When you log into your banking application and you see a low number, you do not allow that physical shadow to dictate your internal state. You look at the low number with total amusement. You literally smirk at the screen. You treat the negative bank balance like a temporary comical glitch in a video game that you have already beaten. You say to yourself, "How amusing that the physical world is still playing this old echo. This is just the dying breath of my old life." You refuse to flinch. You refuse to drop your royal posture. You close the application and you immediately return to the feeling of massive, heavy, boring wealth. You must realize that the universe is constantly testing your assumption. The physical world is going to throw bills, unexpected expenses, and financial delays at you to see if you will break your character. The three-dimensional world is going to hold a mirror up to your face and ask you, are you really the wealthy master you claim to be, or are you still the terrified peasant wearing a fake crown? When the unexpected bill arrives in the mail, that is your final exam. The peasant looks at the bill, breaks down in tears, complains about the unfairness of life, and immediately drops back into the frequency of desperation. The peasant proves to the universe that they do not trust the law of assumption, but the master reacts entirely differently. The master holds the terrifying bill in their hands, feels the momentary attempt of the physical body to panic, and immediately shuts it down using their regulated nervous system. The master looks at the bill and feels the crushing weight of their own apathy. They realize that a piece of paper demanding money is completely irrelevant to a being of infinite wealth. They pay the bill or they set it aside, with the exact same emotional indifference as throwing a piece of trash into a garbage can. When you consistently pass these tests, when you prove to the quantum field that your internal assumption of wealth is completely untouchable by the physical facts of your life, the resistance of the physical world entirely collapses. The pedestal is permanently shattered. The money realizes that you are no longer chasing it. It realizes that you are no longer a crazed, desperate fan. It looks at your new, undeniable frequency of arrogant mastery, and it suddenly recognizes that it belongs to you. The dynamic completely flips. You become the celebrity, and the money becomes the fan. The wealth begins to chase you. Opportunities begin to hunt you down. Massive sums of cash begin to flow into your life from the most illogical, unpredictable sources, simply because you finally stopped trying to force them to come. You created the massive, silent vacuum of apathy, and the universe rushed in to fill that vacuum with physical gold. You have reached the final threshold of this masterclass. You have undergone a complete psychological and spiritual surgery. You started this video as a desperate, exhausted chaser, running after a false god and begging for scraps of paper to survive. You learned how to biologically regulate your terrified nervous system, turning off the primitive survival alarms that were keeping you trapped in the frequency of poverty. You learned the devastating truth about the gratitude trap, and why your forced euphoric gratitude was actually a toxic poison that actively repelled your wealth. You successfully demoted money from the position of a supreme deity, and you hired it as your quiet, obedient servant. And finally, you stepped into the majestic, boring, silent arrogance of the true owner. You have reclaimed the throne of your own consciousness. You must never forget the profound power of your own identity. You are not a victim of the global economy. You are not a victim of your past financial mistakes. You are not a victim of your current bank balance. You are the operant power of the entire simulation. You are the only architect in the room. The external world has absolutely no free will of its own. The people, the banks, the circumstances, and the money itself are all just deeply hypnotized actors, blindly following the script that you are writing with your dominant internal assumptions. If you assume the role of the beggar, the actors will treat you like a beggar. But because you have now assumed the role of the master, the actors have absolutely no choice but to bow down and hand you the keys to the kingdom. You have broken the idol. You have torn down the altar of lack. You will never again look at a piece of printed paper and feel inferior to it. You will never again let a digital number on a screen dictate your worth, your happiness, or your peace of mind. You have stepped out of the illusion of the chase, and you have firmly planted your feet in the absolute reality of the wish fulfilled. The days of wanting are over. The days of hoping are finished. The days of waiting for a miracle have come to an end. You are the miracle. You are the wealth. If you have stayed with me until this exact moment, your mind has been fundamentally rewired. The old version of you, the version that worshipped money and lived in terror, is completely dead. But to permanently seal this new reality, to anchor your new identity of absolute mastery into the physical matrix of the three-dimensional world, you must issue one final, undeniable decree. You must leave your signature on the fabric of the universe before you close this video. I want you to step fully into the quiet, arrogant power of the monarch. I want you to scroll down to the comments section directly below this video. I want you to type these exact words with the cold, mechanical certainty of a ruler issuing a command to their kingdom. Do not type it with hope. Do not type it with excitement. Type it as an absolute, boring, undeniable fact of your existence. Type, "Money is my servant. I am the master." Let the physical movement of your fingers translating that thought into reality be the final nail in the coffin of your poverty. Make the declaration, "Money is my servant. I am the master." The pedestal is broken. The chase is over. Go enjoy your kingdom.